Who's here? But it's been a while since I've seen it. Of course, I was telling somebody earlier, one of the hottest days of my life was the straw poll. It was 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of you were there. And one of the coldest days of my life was the night of the caucuses. But you know what? I don't care about extreme temperatures because, as I said in the first chapter of my book, I love Iowa. What a great state. If it had not been for you guys, my campaign would have ended probably sometime in the early part of January, as on the 3rd. Of course, because of you guys, we took it all the way into March, and just think, you know, for a few votes in some other states, if the rest of the country had been as smart as you guys. I'm having a great time. I'm loving the many opportunities that I think God has given me, one of which is to be affiliated with the Fox News Channel and doing a show every weekend, which has been a lot of that is my job security now, so please continue to watch. Feel free to watch Saturday and Sunday if you want to. And then I'm getting to do commentaries on the ABC Radio Network 5 days a week, and because of that, my time to depart from here is not rudeness and a lack of desire to hang around, but tight deadlines to get to those commentaries means I've got to leave. So if I'm hustled out of here at the end of the event tonight, please understand. I'd love to come back, and I'm going to tell you something. As long as this guy is going to run for governor, I promise I will be back to Iowa to campaign for him. I got to tell you guys what it was like after Iowa, because, you know, before that, nobody knew that I was even running for president. And I would go places, and we had this situation, true story, in Colorado. My press secretary and I had gotten out there early in the campaign and got off a plane. We were supposed to be doing a fundraiser just outside of Denver. And so we went up to the car rental counter to get a car so we could drive out to where this event was going to be. And the press secretary went up and handed the campaign credit card to the clerk. And the card said, Huckabee for president. So the clerk read the card, looked up at the press secretary and said, Huckabee for president. President of what? I mean, we were so far behind in money and so far behind in name recognition. It was just scary. And here's the irony. After the campaign ended and I started doing television, it's amazing. More people seem to watch Fox News Channel than ever vote in this country. And now I have these completely different reactions because I was traveling the whole year of 2007 in virtual, non-amenity, but suddenly I found that once I got on television every week, now every time I'm going to an airport, people give this look, and one of two things, they're political junkies, and so they'll come up and say, you're my Huckabee, I voted for you. And that made me feel really, really good. Until after a few months, I met more people who claimed to have voted for me than did vote for me. But the other thing, there are some people, they're not really that political, you can just tell. They know they stick me somewhere, they're not sure why. And they're not sure if I ran for president or sold them a used car last year. But about 2 months ago, I promised this happened. I'm in the little lounge area at the Delta Airlines counter in Atlanta, changing planes. And I'm in and out of there so much that all the Delta employees I know by name. And so some of them were having me sign a book or something for their nieces, nephews, and sons and daughters, and I'm talking to them. And this younger lady, I guess, is watching all this, and she's trying to figure out, why do I know this guy? And she can't quite put it together, so she walks over, and here's what she does. She comes over and she says, excuse me, I recognize you, I'm pretty sure. Aren't you Bob Dole? I'm going to be with he and Elizabeth Dole tomorrow in love the man. But Bob Dole is 85. Please. You guys are laughing. The only person who thought it was funnier than you was my wife. That was hilarious. I wanted to tell you how grateful I am for your support of Bob Vander. You know, it's an interesting thing today. Some of the reporters have said, why would you come out and support Bob Vander? I mean, you know, there may be other candidates who run. My response, so? I know this man because I spent the better part of a year all over this state with him. I mean, from early morning till late night. I was saying to some folks earlier, we touched down in 99 counties in this state. He was with me for most all of them. And day in and day out, you come to learn about a person when you spend that much time with him. Here's what I can tell you about your next governor. This is a man who knows who he is and what he believes. And he won't have to talk to a consultant to find out what he needs to take a position on before he takes the position, because deep within his soul and who he is, he knows what he's here for. He knows his purpose in life. He's comfortable in his own skin. And his convictions are not the convictions of convenience. They are the convictions of moral clarity and moral courage. And if there ever was a time in our nation's histories when we need political leaders who have something all the way to the bone as to what they believe and why they believe it, it is now. And Bob Vander is the guy who truly to know this guy. I came to love him and appreciate him, not just as a political ally, but as a dear personal friend. And as I try to explain this to reporters, my relationship with Bob transcends politics. Politically, I don't have any issue I don't agree with him on. But more importantly, on a personal level, he's a person with whom I share a kinship and a kindred spirit. And it got to be where that whenever I go somewhere in Iowa, I'd always say, when he would introduce me as my state chairman, then I'd get up and typically say, I want to say thanks to the next governor of Iowa. And I was always thrilled at how many people liked that idea when I would say that Bob was going to be the next governor. Now, one of the reasons that I'm planning on doing everything I can to help this guy is because I want to prove that I can predict the future. And one of the best ways that can happen is for this guy to get elected, everybody's going to say, I already saw this coming years before it happened.